So, let me ask you this, Philip. Is Halloween super big in either Czech or Japan?
No.
Okay, cool. Love it.
It's pretty much only big here, Sam.
Yeah, that's the one thing we got. We got to own it, Danielle. It's the only good thing we can export. Hello and welcome to Spook Retorts.
Spook.
Very enthusiastic. That's Danielle.
Hello, everybody. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Sam. And this is the podcast about sharing your weird media find with your friends, but this time it's spookified.
We love it.
We're also super excited to have a spooktacular guest in the form of Filip.
Spook!
See, Danielle, that's the kind of energy we need.
How was that any different than mine?
He at least elongated the O.
It was longer.
Yeah.
I got sidetracked by the cat.
Danielle, focus. This is important. This is spooky season. You can't lose focus. That's how you get killed in a horror movie. You know that.
I'm sorry,
Thank
everybody.
you so much for having me again. I'm so excited. I was just saying that this is a completely new feeling that I'm enjoying so much that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have to, have meticulous notes and prepare everything for the show. So
Meticulous
awesome.
notes. What are those?
For his 18th Hyperion episode.
Exactly. Also slightly scared, slightly spooked that there might be, Hyperion horror stories or something in October.
Actually, I'm doing the Hyperion. No Hyperion. You're safe. I did not want to scare myself, but I'm going to do things a little out of order because I'm going to give Danielle here the summary first. And I think you'll figure out what this media is from the summary pretty quickly, Philip. And I'm excited to see how that goes. All right, let me send that to you, Danielle.
No, get out of here, Philip. His picture was blocking it. All right, you ready for this, Philip?
Oh, yes.
Are you ready?
Yes, super ready.
Deep in the dirty sewers of London, there is a breeding ground. ... The slugs have come back.
Oh my god.
Slowly, silently, they slither along dank, fetid tunnels into the city in search of human flesh. Their insatiable need knows no bounds, but now they bring a new horror, a plague which spreads insanity and death, transforming its victims into grotesque, crazed killers. Caught in this maelstrom of horror is Dr. Alan Finch, the only man capable of destroying the breeding ground forever.
Oh my lord.
Dun,
I am
dun,
mesmerized.
Slugs are back!
Not
Why
only
are
did
they
you
turning
read the
people
book with me,
crazy?
but you read the second book for me. Oh my god. This is the biggest Halloween present I ever got in my life.
Well, Philip, we figured we couldn't do a Slugs book without you. So we're very happy you could make the time to come back and join us.
I do get to experience it through you, and I didn't have to read it, so amazing.
Be glad
It's a
you
win.
didn't have to read it. This book was a challenge.
I imagine it was a challenge.
So just to be clear for everyone listening, we are doing Breeding Grounds, the second book in the Shaun Hutson Slugs pulp horror novels from 1985.
And which we've done the first of.
Did we talk about how Garth Marenghi is an inspiration of this guy and stuff? Garth Marenghi.
Yes, I believe you told us all about that when we did the first Slugs book / movie.
Okay,
yes,
right.
Which I'm excited. For everyone who wants to hear the story, listen to either our episode on the movie Slugs or our episode with Filip on his Mind Duck Books podcast on the book Slugs.
Thank you for the shout out.
Of course, excellent episodes. They will give you some context for this, maybe or not. I don't know.
Maybe. Do we have to know what happened in the first one?
No, not at all. Completely irrelevant.
Excellent.
I mean, with the exception that there are slugs.
Is it more disgusting or the same level?
It is. I mean, I don't know. I skimmed a lot because I'll come out with it right now. I'm not a pulp reader in general, so maybe this isn't my genre, but I found myself mostly bored with the long paragraphs of describing grotesque things. I'm like, yeah, I get it. There's vomit, there's gore, there's blood. Let's move on. I understand. And maybe that's a me thing. I admit that. Whether or not it's more or less disgusting than the previous one, probably more if you there's a lot more vomit, that's for sure. So
Awesome. I'll take it. I always say that living in Japan makes me feel too clean. There's no dirt anywhere. People don't talk about anything disgusting. So I need to get my fix. I need to get some filth. No.
Well, there's more vomit, but less sex. So take it as you will.
Yeah. The sex scenes in the first book, you don't want to read.
Sure, there were some questionable ones.
But honestly, they were the craziest. Like, they kept me going back. Like, what's he gonna say next?
So, true. The discussion was very memorable, but the act not so much.
So I'm going to open here. I have an edition. I don't know when this was. I think it was 2019 or something when this was republished as a special edition or something.
Oh, wow. I have to buy
because
that.
there is a lengthy foreword by the author describing his, relationship with the book's Slugs. And I'm going to read some excerpts from that foreword because it's crazy and it's very funny. So at one point he says, back in the 80s, horror ruled. Just like rock and metal ruled the music business. Ah, those were the days. Excuse me why I go all wistful. But Silence of the Lambs arrived to screw over the horror business, and I'm censoring a little bit, because people read it and thought they were reading a horror book. They weren't. They were reading a thriller with horrific scenes. So here he is dunking on Silence of the Lambs, which I think is very funny coming from him.
I mean, it is a psychological thriller. You could argue that, I guess.
I'm not going to disagree. Then he says, and Nirvana crawled into view to screw rock music scene into oblivion. People seem to prefer the less complex music of Nirvana to the brilliant musicianship of so many rock bands. So, he's just like, darn kids with their Silence of the Lambs and Nirvana that ruined rock music and horror. I find that very funny.
Yep.
Then he goes on to say, obviously when the film rights to Slugs were sold and it was actually made, despite the end result, then the idea of a sequel became even more inviting. Right up to this day, there are still inquiries about the rights to Breeding Ground as well. So maybe we'll get a Breeding Ground movie someday.
Yes, please.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, he's very tongue-in-cheek. He knows what he's writing, and I appreciate that he doesn't pretend he's writing, like, great highbrow horror. He's like, no, I'm in the sewers. I'm dragging horror there with me because, the book is about the sewers. So
for the listeners, please look up any interview with this guy. If you have no idea who this writer is, just listen to him speak. It's amazing. He's exactly on the level of I'm faking it or I'm actually very serious about what I'm saying and I mean everything 100%. You can't tell. But
either way, it's very funny.
He's very entertaining, yes.
So that's the introduction. It also opens with a quote. The quote says, close the city and tell the people that something is coming to call. Who is this quote from? What master do you think it's from? It's Ronnie James Dio, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Known.
Yeah, right. Like, what a choice. This guy is very funny given his call outs about rock music and metal music in his foreword. Anyway. So, we open this book with a prologue. There's a heat wave engulfing London, and a farmer bringing a load of cabbage to a market. As he delivers the cabbage, the rotten pieces are tossed aside into the refuse pile, but no one notices a small cylindrical object nestled in the leaves, smaller than a fingernail. But soon they double in size. Dun, dun, dun.
They're already doubling in size. It's a new breed.
Immediately, they're growing really fast.
Yeah, over the next few hours.
Is that how fast slugs grow?
No, but these ones do because they're special, which we'll get to.
Every time I see a slug now, I think of you guys.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not even joking. It's like forever in my brain.
Do you quake in fear at the possibility that it's a carnivorous slug?
No, but I have almost a compulsive desire to take a picture of it and send it to you.
You know what? I've never seen a slug in Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe Danielle can make a slug collage for you and send them over.
I do see them semi-regularly.
I'll put it on my wall in the office so I can see it every day.
All right, so we cut to a homeless man eating burgers and drinking beer out of the trash, pretty much scrounging whatever he can.
Yeah,
we'll
let me
get
have some
to
rotten
it.
cabbage with that. That's good.
So this book does this thing a lot. I don't remember how much it did in the first book, but it's like, it'll give pages of backstory about these characters. Just like exposition dumping here's their life story, and then they die a page later. You're like, okay, and they never come back. So
Welcome to crabs.
Yeah. I guess it's a pulp thing, and maybe it's just my lack of experience. So I apologize. I'm like, what is going on?
I think they're trying to make you feel for the character, but you just like irrelevant.
It fails. It does not work.
I think it was in the first book as well, because we discussed how they gave you all this backstory about the guy doing something, going somewhere, getting together with somebody else, just to set up this scene when they get together, and then they die, and that's it, and never.
Yeah, but then the dude exploded in a restaurant, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
The restaurant scene was the highlight. Yes.
Yeah, see, or like a woman gets eaten out by a slug, literally.
That's not the highlight, but yes, I'm very curious how they're going to top this one out.
Yeah, but that's the scene that lives in my head rent free.
Yeah.
That's the scene you shouldn't read, I was mentioning.
All right. So he's scrounging for food, eating whatever he can get. He's been living here for 2 months since leaving Newcastle after the pit where he worked since he was 16 had closed a year ago. Now he's almost 47. Unable to find work, he has ended up homeless in London. There you go. That's me summarizing like 3 pages of backstory.
What was his name again?
I didn't give his name because I don't care.
Well, I do.
Why? I don't want to look up his name. If I had to give you every name of every character who died, it'd be nothing but me trying to remember names.
Just count the victims. We should guess how many victims. Or I guess you guys don't know. How many victims
9.
will there?
No, you're way off about the total number of victims.
I'm going to say 74, but...
way off.
Okay.
Is it between 9 and 74?
No.
Is it 182?
5,000 people.
I don't know. I don't have the exact
an entire
number.
city?
But it's definitely in the hundreds.
Okay. So it's just victim one. You have to fast forward. No time for names.
All right. Exactly. He wanders. Eventually, he ends up at the farmer's market, and he goes up to the refuse pile and starts digging through it, scrounging for his scraps, and he grabs some cabbage. No.
We don't even need to be here, Philip. He can just talk to himself and react.
Look, I'm giving you the whole, performance here.
So far, I'm very entertained, so cannot wait. What happens next? I wonder what happens next.
Well, ignoring the weird shiny substance on the leaves, he bites into it, and he has a foul taste, fills his mouth, which he retches and gags, spitting it out, washing it down with a broken bottle of Guinness he finds.
But how big was the slug? You said it was already growing bigger, so wouldn't he notice that it's big as a hand or something? It's like a giant chunk of stuff?
No, he didn't notice any slugs, just slime.
Okay.
6 hours later, his stomach is in terrible pain, despite him usually having an iron stomach. He stumbles around, other pedestrians avoid him, he vomits on the sidewalk, seeing blood in the vomit. He lurches around, ending up in Leicester Square, stumbling into a public restroom. And we get the longest description of a man vomiting into a toilet you will ever read.
Oh no. Are there slug eggs in the vomit?
As he prays for death, that would be some time coming. Bum, bum, bum.
Does he die in the bathroom?
Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's absolutely dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not answering you on purpose, Phil, because you will get the answers and they will be crazy.
Well, the thing we discussed in the previous story was that there could be so many interesting ventures and kind of adventures with the slugs mind controlling people. So I'm very hyped if that's gonna happen or not. Because
the slugs start mind control people and start we're gonna take over Parliament with our mind controlled humans.
And they have They have a hive mind, and then they escape into space, and it's a whole thing. They
exactly. We start colonizing Mars.
Like when the dogs took over Parliament and Starlight Barking.
The Starlight Barking, yes, the dogs took over Parliament. Very good. Yeah, I didn't. I'm impressed you remembered that.
And also, we find out that the slugs are actually from space, from a piece of rock.
No, that would make too much sense if they were space slugs.
No space slugs.
That would be the plot of Starlight Barking. With slugs.
The Starlight sliming. All right. Later, 2 delinquent youths walk in to sniff glue, which they do for quite a while.
I guess that was a thing in the 80s.
Yeah. As they get high, one starts kicking open the stall doors. One of the doors won't open. It's jammed shut by the body of a person hunched over the toilet.
Who died from slugs.
The youth busts the door open and starts like yelling at the guy like, hey, yo, buddy, give me your money or something. And then when he doesn't respond, he starts like kicking him. But as he kicks him, his chest like bursts open, sending foul liquid and stench everywhere, with slugs writhing in the torso cavity.
How fast are the slugs this time?
Yeah.
Are they slow?
They are slug speed.
It's gonna be another one of those scenes like, oh no, there's so many of them and they barely move.
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't escape.
I have some very... when we get to the roundtable discussion of how to handle the slug threat, I have comments.
Just throw salt at them and walk away.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to come up.
The author does mention salt, and they dismiss the idea without ever explaining why it's a stupid idea. It's very funny.
This could be solved just going to the grocery store. I don't understand.
This is a fascinating horror story to me, and the most appealing horror story that's because of those reasons. Like, I cannot imagine how many easy solutions are to all these problems, and yet they always die, so that's
I will give some credit to this book. It makes the slugs slightly more threatening by making the slugs themselves not the threatening part of the slugs. And we'll get to it.
Okay.
Perfect.
The youths, upon seeing this carcass melt in front of them, poo their pants before running forward and vomiting. And then the slugs crawl away, making it their way through the drains of the urinals into the sewer.
I was expecting them to fall face first into the slugs like the other guy in the first book.
No, that happens later.
Why did they poo their pants instead of pee their pants?
Because the author thought it was funnier. I don't know.
Not the usual choice.
I agree, but apparently there's a lot of bowel evacuating in this book for your joy and pleasure. Cut to Detective Inspector Grogan surveying the scene of the foul body of the vagrant. He tries to freshen his breath with breath spray, but misses and shoots it up his nose for the first shot. Which, again, is a very good detail to include. I'm glad that's in there. Gives you a real sense of the character of Inspector Grogan.
This is absolute schlock, all these books, but it's very entertaining. You cannot deny it's entertaining.
I would say I'm having way more fun telling you about it than I did having reading it. So I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I've had many books like that.
Yeah, exactly. Which, again, is the premise of this podcast. So it's
I am
perfect.
very blessed I didn't read it, I guess.
Yeah. The face of the body is covered in a mysterious slime. As the medics come in to remove the body, they try to lift it onto the gurney, but it breaks in half. Dun, dun, dun. It's gross.
Do more slugs come out of it, or like the slugs have vacated into the sewer
slugs
system?
have escaped into the sewers, left only the remnants of the body behind on their insidious slime trails.
Love it.
Insidious.
Next, we meet Dr. Alan Finch, who is fairly new to a private practice, and spends some time critiquing the appearance of the secretary at the office, ending with, despite her physical shortcomings, she was a first-class worker, and I hate him.
How pretty you are really, impacts how well you do at your job.
Absolutely. He's like, she has kind of a little mustache, unseemly, but I guess she does good work, so I'll keep her around.
Love that.
Don't like him at all. As he leaves for a house call, he notices the terrible heat and contemplates the drought the city is feeling. In his car, the radio conveniently broadcasts the news that police are trying to ID the body of a vagrant found in Leicester Square. He drives to a flat, and a beautiful young woman, Lisa, answers the door.
Maybe he should hire her to be a secretary.
Don't think he isn't considering it. She leads Finch to her mother, who's lying in a bed covered in painful, throbbing, oozing boils.
Oh.
Are there slugs coming out of them?
Not yet.
And it's like a
Give it time.
Finch is unable to diagnose her as she seems otherwise healthy, besides a slight fever, and says that she should go to the hospital before leaving to return to his next call. No one notices the mysterious slime trails on a rubber plant near the toilet.
How did they get in? Through the toilet?
Through the toilet, or something. I'm guessing. They do that a lot of toilet work
Was
here.
that a thing in the first book? They were coming out of the sink? Or that's
Yeah, but they were coming out of the, taps of the sink, despite the sink taps being closed.
Yeah, that
which
was
I thought was
nonsensical,
very
so-
funny.
Yeah. So now they're coming through the pipes. That's better.
Which makes more sense. Coming up the toilet, that's always open, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
More sense. As
Do
much
you ever
sense as
think
anything
about
this
that
can
when
make.
you sit on a toilet in the dark?
My toilet's never dark. It has a nightlight.
Oh, that's right. You have a nightlight. I forgot. Well, I think about it sometimes when I sit on my toilet in the dark.
Whatever happened to the toilet nightlight I gave you, Danielle?
Think about it, Sam. Think about it hard.
No, I gave you a second one.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. When
No,
you were
you
at the
didn't.
cabin. I absolutely gave you one.
Well, then it's still at the cabin.
Oh, all right. Third toilet light coming for your birthday. All right. Cut to some sewer workers down in the sewers, where you'd expect them to be. They're inspecting the walls, which are crumbling in places. Again, we get a lot of backstory about the sewer engineer. He's been a sewer engineer for 2 years and is expecting a new baby. He's excited and can't
this
wait.
is really sad.
No, it's not. It's about to be less sad. He's excited and can't wait to take the boy to football matches. But wait, what if it's a girl? The horror. He can't take a girl to a football match.
Oh, he could die then, I guess.
Yep, exactly.
Even though he probably would have learned his moral lesson as he was raising his child that was a
No,
daughter.
it's okay, Danielle. He's sure he's going to have a boy, so it won't be a problem. So I'm glad he's going to die. 5 slugs stealthily swim through the water like eels towards him. Suddenly, a red warning light goes off. There's a gas pocket in the sewer. His partner evacuates, but our soon-to-be-dead misogynist tries to follow. Something drops onto his shoulder from above. It's slugs! Crawling onto the ceiling and dropping on him like paratroopers.
Did the gas light thing go off because of the slugs? Are they
No,
expelling
coincidental.
gas? Are you sure?
Yes, because it never goes off again.
Maybe they like to chase their prey.
Maybe they do. I don't know,
So
Danielle.
they turned it on so that the prey would run.
So Slug Fact Corner, I couldn't prepare because I don't know, but do they swim? I don't remember.
I think we
Should
had
I
this
look it
exact question last time because
Yeah.
it ended up in the sewers, and I don't think we got an answer, and I don't think we
I
care.
have to find out.
They do. They wear little slug floaties.
That's right. They wear slug floaties and swim. That's right.
Sounds like they swim really fast from what Sam just said. So let's do.
Little
Angle
mini
of attack.
floaties,
Like a little life preserver floaty around the waist.
little
with
petty sized, and they put
exactly.
up one on
They
each
have to blow
side.
them up. It's a lot of work for slugs.
Slug Fact Corner.
I told you this was going to be a 5-hour episode.
So just Google
Sorry,
it.
everybody.
Can slugs swim? No. They will drown submerged immediately.
That's why they have floaties. Philip.
Or, Philip, mutant slugs. You don't know about mutant slugs, mutant flesh-eating slugs. You don't know.
There are
Maybe
sea
they hold their
slugs
breath and they float to the top.
that have
Yeah.
specialized appendages to propel themselves through water. So sea slugs mutated with land slugs, and those are those you're talking about. So
We'll get into their origins later, and you will not have fewer questions, is what I will say. All right. So, as the slugs swarm this dude, and, quote, one crawls into the welcoming wetness of his mouth, and,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, he vomits.
As would I.
doesn't he have
However,
a mask
it
in the
does-
sewer?
However, vomiting does not dislodge the slugs, and the slimy forms crawl into his orifices despite him using pliers to try to rip them off. Soon, he is eaten.
Pliers?
Yeah. He has a
Like
tool
reaching
bag.
in his throat with pliers while he's vomiting in the
Pulling
sewer?
them off of his eyes and ears and stuff with pliers, but their squishy forms are immune to pliers, apparently.
What the- Why would he grab it with his hands?
Because they're too slimy to grab. They're too slick.
my
You're not
God.
trying to grab a greased pig. It's a slimy slug. Same level of difficulty, I'm sure.
God.
Meanwhile, the other tank is waiting at the top of the manhole. Like, hey, you coming up there, buddy? And then the dude does not show up. He puts on a little breathing mask and heads back down. But there's no sign of his friend. Ooh, empty
Nor
sewers,
slugs.
empty sewers, empty
They're
sewers.
full.
The slugs appear and disappear with surprising speed in this book at just the right moments.
Where did the body go? Do they take it with them?
So we will find out, maybe. We will get to it.
Are they taking the bodies and putting them in a pile somewhere?
They're making pinatas. I don't know. Slugyatas. You hit it and burst open. Slugs! Cut to Finch. Later that evening, going to the hospital to check on Lisa's mother. But really to check out Lisa, let's be honest.
Yes, his future secretary.
Secretary.
Oh, excuse me.
He finds Lisa by her mother's bed and appraises her physically, of course.
Is she as hot as Lisa was when she was young? The mom.
Oh, the mom? No, he finds Lisa by her mother's bed and appraises her physically. He's appraising Lisa physically. Like, oh, look how hot she is. He's not looking at the mother. She's not hot.
He's wondering if the mom was like an older version of Lisa.
Oh, I don't know the answer to that. She's covered in pustules. She can't be attractive.
We don't know that. We don't know what he's into.
Unfortunately, we do. The attending doctor talks to Finch, saying they don't know what it is, but it's spreading. And if he can, he should get Lisa to go home and get some rest. She's been there all day.
Is this like patient zero? Is she like creating the slugs in her boils?
No.
No, that's a shame.
A shame? Sure. All right.
Curious.
So Finch offers to, like, get Lisa some food at the canteen, saying, you know, you gotta go get some rest. You're no good to your mother just sitting here wearing yourself out, and off they go. As they talk over food, Lisa reveals she has brothers and sisters who don't bother to see their mother. It's all on Lisa to take care of her, since her father died when she was 15. She often wonders what it would be like to love someone as deeply as her mother loved her father. Spoiler, she will not find out what it's like in this book.
Aw, sad day.
She asks Finch if he's married, but he mentions that he's divorced with one child, a young boy. Lisa bemoans that she's 28 and still single, practically past her expiration date.
So old.
Fortunately, Finch is there to reassure that she's very attractive, so she'll do fine. He eventually convinces her to go home since she can't help here, and he drives her home before leaving to head back to his own place. Cut to two men fishing on the shore of the Thames. One convinced the other that... Yep. One convinced the other that there was trout in there. However, the only thing they fished up so far is a wooden toilet seat.
Ew.
One of them starts to feel cold despite the heat wave and decides the best option is to shelter a bit from the wind in the open mouth of the sewer outflow that dumps into the Thames.
Really? That's the best option?
That's the best option, these guys. Like, it's the middle of the heat wave, but I'm chilly, so I'm going to go stand in a sewer. Impeccable logic.
Enjoying the cool breeze coming out of the sewer.
The warm breeze. He wants to warm up.
Oh, sorry.
It probably is a warm breeze.
Inside, he's horrified to discover a ravaged body. They call the police.
The sewer guy?
Yes, and soon Grogan is on the scene and IDs the body as the missing sewer worker. He concludes they have a serial killer on their hands.
Because 2 people died?
In the exact same way.
Are they serial killers after 2 killings? Don't you have to be 4 or more?
I mean, we don't know. Maybe they've had more bodies they haven't found yet, but at least there's a possibility.
So they think it's a possibility of a serial killer.
He's like, there seems to be someone out here killing people in a very specific way. Probably a serial killer then if they're doing it a lot and have a calling card.
They don't think it was like ravaged by werewolves or something? That seems to be going around London.
Yeah, werewolves. His second guess was werewolves, Danielle. His first guess was serial killer. Actually, his first guess was slugs, then serial killer, then werewolves.
It's a sequel, werewolf
there's
slugs.
Only been 2. Because the bodies are torn apart. I don't know.
Cut to Finch, eating Chinese takeout alone in his home. He's a junk food fanatic and eats takeout of some kind almost every day.
I mean, Chinese is pretty great, so...
Yeah, can't argue with that. He wanders into his living room, contemplating that his home is too big for one person alone. He then thinks about his divorce from his ex, Teresa. It had been a messy affair. They had a stormy relationship, each very career-focused. Him as a doctor, her as a magazine editor. Twice while they were engaged, she had affairs with people at her work. And Finch isn't sure why he still married her. Hint, she is of course completely stunning.
Of course. And I'm pretty sure she was cheating on him because he's awful.
Yeah, absolutely. Soon after the wedding, they found out she was pregnant, and despite the fact that having a kid would wreck her career, Teresa refused an abortion. Finch even suspected the kid might have been the product of another affair, but he loved little Charlie regardless.
Aw, that's nice.
Teresa was also a loving and devoted mother, but her resentment about having to give up her career was directed at Finch. So they divorced, and Finch relinquished custody of his kid to only see him twice monthly for an afternoon. Father of the year.
Was the 80s.
Yep. And the women can't have a career and a baby. That's nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
Yep.
Cut to George Bennett, the pathologist, i.e., I think we would call him a coroner, but maybe pathologist. I don't know about positions in British hierarchies, but, you know, write me, British people.
You can sound like it.
What?
I don't know. It just sounded very like, screw you guys. Write me.
Write me and tell me what you call a coroner is the same thing as pathologist. I want to know.
It wasn't inviting, Sam. It sounded very aggressive.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be aggressive. I just don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he's the official pathologist of Scotland Yard. He's an avid exerciser and health nut and convinced his wife to ditch red meat and the like, and next hoped to browbeat her into an exercise regime he devised. Another winner.
That sounds like a vegetarian.
Yep.
Oh, just kidding, everybody. I love vegetables.
You don't love vegetables, Danielle. They don't hurt people, except when they're covered in slugs.
Yeah.
Don't eat those. Why are we eating those?
But he ate just a slime and he still died, so he can just be attacked.
Do none of these people wash their vegetables?
Yeah, they don't.
Not if they're eating them out of the trash.
No, I don't count that guy. I mean, he's doing his best.
It's the only person eating a slug so far in this book, Danielle.
Give it time.
You don't know.
That's not true. The guy that was underneath in the sewer also ate one.
No.
Not willingly, but it went in his mouth.
I don't want to call that eating a slug as so much being invaded orally by a slug.
The slug ate him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting way to eat somebody.
Forced eating.
So pathologist Bennett had just delivered 2 reports to Inspector Grogan, and they are confusing because the wounds on the 2 bodies weren't made with any typical weapon. There also seems to be no link between the victims, so they both died in the same way, even so far as having their internal organs removed. Werewolf, yes. Bennett speculates that it could be an animal attack, but quickly retracts that as silly. Danielle, the animal is...
Werewolves.
Slugs! It's obviously slugs. Where slugs?
What if it was snails? If they had
snails, yeah.
That'd be so funny if they thought it was snails and it was slugs.
Snails at least have armor. I believe they'd be more threatening than slugs.
You can get stuck in places more easily. The slugs can get anywhere.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
Good point.
That's a very good point. What if it was snails with detachable shells? Then they would be like all-terrain snails.
Wow, it's the evolution. Maybe the slugs would slug into the shells of the snails, and that's how they
like a hermit crab, a hermit slug.
That's how it overpowered the snail. It's already writing itself, the sequel. Snail versus slug.
Slugs 3, snails.
Yeah.
Tell me you wouldn't read that.
I definitely read that. We should send a fan letter to...
Danielle's losing it.
It's funny. It's
very good.
Dumb sequel. I think it's the worst one we've ever done.
The best, thank you.
Okay,
I don't know if I'm going to write Slug 3 snails and make millions while you're going to be laughing.
You should sell it to the author.
Dear Shaun Hutson, have we got a book title for you?
I'd bet he'd do it.
I hope so. I love him. He is crazy, and it's great. All right. Cut to Slugs 2, breeding grounds. We cut to a dog wandering the streets looking for shade. It finds an abandoned building and pushes its way inside from a gap in a boarded-up window.
Uh-oh. Does the dog die.com?
Nice plug, Danielle. It smells something terrible, so it goes to investigate because dog. It finds an open drain hole where a sink used to be. There are slime trails ringing the hole, so of course the dog licks one. It tastes terrible.
No! Poor puppy. This is so sad. I don't care at all about the other characters.
Soon a slug appears from the pipe, and the dog just kind of watches them.
Does he join their posse? No, he's like a dog following the slugs.
Rolling with the slugs. Slugs 4, dog slugs. Meanwhile, a kid, Mark, has been following the dog. It's his dog, and he's pretending to be like a detective putting a tail on the dog as it wanders. But he's quickly distracted by an ice cream shop and decides to pop in to get a, quote, mini milk from the ice cream store. Whatever that is. British people, if you don't want to write it and tell me about pathologists, write it and tell me about mini milk. I gotta know.
Mini milk.
Meanwhile, the dog is watching the slugs crawl towards it. Then it sniffs and licks one, hating the taste, because dog. But as the dog licks it, the slug bites onto the tongue, and soon the creatures engulf it, one slithering in the ear towards the dog's brain.
That's so sad.
Cool, we got the dog's perspective. Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Do we ever get the slug's perspective?
All the time.
Excellent. See,
In
it's
the
just
sequel with the
multi-annual.
snails, there's gonna be no people in it. It's just gonna be like different animals' perspectives attacking the snails and the slugs.
So, like, this is going to be like a Secret of Nim war between the slugs and like forest creatures?
Do we find out that the slugs are actually in the right?
Well, I mean, if they're trying to wipe out humanity, they can't be all wrong. So Mark soon finishes his treat and resumes the hunt for the dog, squeezing his way inside the building. But as he looks around, he finds only the bloody collar of his dog amid a ruinous mess of flesh.
And then he needs therapy the rest of his life.
He grabs the collar, slick with blood and mysterious slime, and runs out. His hand and arm start to tingle with pain.
He's gonna die too.
Crazier.
Does he turn into a slug?
Yes, this is a Kafka-esque metamorphosis story.
I don't know what's happening in this book, Sam.
You don't, and that's the point. Later, at home, Mark tries to tell his mom about the dog, but his mom was all like, oh, you probably just, exaggerated what's happening. He saw something, had a nightmare or something, and this is your imagination. And he sits him at the table for food, noticing what looks like a rash and bumps all over his arms. Not feeling well, Mark eats a little, but then goes to lie down. His mom, meanwhile, pulls out an encyclopedia of diseases and looks through it for rash, but finds it's like too many entries for skin disorder and gives up.
Just like real life.
Yep. Later, Mark's mom goes to check on him, finding him sitting on the side of his bed, covered in boils and a rash. She quickly calls a doctor, but is told she doesn't have an appointment, but they could try to squeeze her in tomorrow. The mom hangs up in anger and decides to call a cab and head over there anyway with Mark.
Go to the ER.
Yep. We will get to that. That is, ooh. Cut to an older man watching his neighbor through his window. He was disabled in an accident while working on the British Rail, and so now sits around in his home watching his neighbors and is very judgy, especially of the young woman who presumes is having all kinds of affairs as different men pick her up at regular intervals. He kvetches a lot about the kids these days before going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet. But while sitting, you'll never guess, slugs creep out of the bowl and attack.
His butt.
Worse. They start chewing through his scrotum and his testicles drop into the bowl with a plop.
Here we go. That's what I was waiting for.
Well, another slug crawls inside his anus to feast.
That's because he was being a sexist, terrible human being.
Look, say what you want about these books. At least the people who died in this one mostly deserve it, kind of.
Other than the poor dog.
And the child, but we'll get to it.
I was wondering how much detail I'm willing to say on this show, because there's going to be some wild stuff in this book. Because on my show, I always swear too much and say all the details. But so you said it. I am surprised.
I'll admit, I am leaving out a lot of gory details. Because it's mostly the same, like, the fetid stench and the rivulets of blood and the same stuff over and over. So you can get the idea. But if you want the full experience, definitely read the book.
I feel like I'm getting better than full experience.
I don't know about that. I mean, we already did come up with the best sequel name ever, Slug 3 Snail, so what have we got to lose?
You can't tell me if you saw that you wouldn't pick it up and be like,
I would definitely pick it up.
I wonder what this is about.
100%, Danielle. That's why it's the best title we ever come up with. Finch is back at his office when he hears a commotion outside. It's a mom arguing with the receptionist, insisting the doctor see her son. Finch goes out, and upon seeing the boy, immediately agrees to take a closer look. Finch thinks he might be the same illness at least his mom has, but in a more advanced state.
That was fast.
Yeah. Finch says, after examining him, that they should go to the hospital, but the boy whines, saying that he doesn't want to go to the hospital. Don't make me go, almost crying as he pleads. The mom asks if he can just stay home, and Finch is all, that's a big risk. You could all get infected at your house. If the mom is all, I don't trust hospitals. And so Finch relents and gives her a prescription for painkillers and tells them to call him if anything changes. So, there you go, Danielle. They didn't go to the hospital because she's
a crunchy granola anti-vaxxer.
From the 80s, but yeah, basically. So again,
I don't trust medicine.
Sympathy lowered. And it wasn't like we have a phobia of hospitals or like, we had a bad experience at a hospital. It's just like, I don't trust hospitals. I came to you, doctor. You're trustworthy. When Finch gets their address, he's shocked to learn they live fairly near to where Lisa and her mother were.
Something
Coincidence? I think not.
Did they eat the same cabbage?
Yes, they eat the same cabbage. They were having a shared cabbage dinner, the community cabbage lunch, and they all got infected with cabbage slugs. It's dumber than that. That night, Mark can't sleep. There's a pounding in his brain and pain everywhere. His boils are itchy.
If only there was some place he could go where he could maybe get medicine or get taken care of.
Nope. Apparently, hospitals are not to be trusted.
I wonder if somebody's gonna get infected and then they'll take a salt bath and they'll accidentally save themselves.
Like, yeah, they'll do an Epsom salt bath. I don't know if Epsom salt should have the same effect, but probably.
Would salt bath work? Like if you walked into the sea?
I don't know, Danielle. I've never tried to kill a slug in the ocean.
Philip always has such totally valid sounding things.
Yeah.
There should be a scene where they are like on the beach and then, they attack from the salad. But fortunately, they run and jump in the sea and that's how they save themselves.
No, they're in the salad, but they put on a vinaigrette dressing. Or like a Caesar dressing with a lot of salt. And then like the slugs all are killed and like scream and run out.
Somebody starts getting attacked, like they get in his mouth, so he just starts gargling like salt water, and that's how they save themselves.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great idea, Philip. Philip, why aren't you the local slugspert?
It's gonna be in my sequel, Slugs the Snail.
This is why we brought the slugspert back. Without Philip, we'd be lost in this book.
It's true.
So as Mark can't sleep, he gets up and walks to the bathroom. Looking at himself in the mirror, eventually he gets his dad's safety razor and slowly unscrews the cover, exposing the blades. He creeps down the hall into his parents' room, who are sleeping naked, which apparently everyone in this book just sleeps naked for reasons.
It was the 80s.
I'm not opposed to sleeping naked, good on you. But like, everyone? That seems like a lot of people. He stands above his father, then quickly he draws the blade across his father's throat twice. Blood gushes everywhere, and his mom groggily wakes up. He starts slashing at her wildly as she stumbles out of the bed, trying to fight him off as the razor cuts her flesh to ribbons.
Why? Are the slugs, controlling his brain?
She manages to grab a lamp and smash over Mark's head. She sees Mark's body writhe and convulse as his boils seem to burst at once before she succumbs to blood loss.
Well, the slugs come from the boils.
Keep guessing, Danielle. Finch is woken by the ringing of his phone. He answers and a voice introduces himself as a detective. He asks Finch to come to Mark's address urgently. When Finch asks why, he only receives, "You'll see when you get here."
No spoilers for you, sir.
That is something that happens so much in this book where someone's like on a radio or calling somebody, instead of just saying, "Hey, slugs," or "there's a body," they just be like, You have to see this. Just listen to me. I don't have time to explain. Like, just say it. It's not hard.
I hate it. Can get infected right now.
The detective could have said, "There are a couple of bodies here we need you to examine." Was that so hard? You didn't have to say, "You'll see when you get here." Crazy. Nobody in real life talks like that.
Happens all the time in movies and books, too.
And it's stupid every time.
Just praying there's like a mother slug and they're mind controlling the small slugs and how they mind control the people, and that's what's happening.
Oh, actually, I should have mentioned, this is actually a prequel to the Heinlein book, Star Slug Troopers. Come on. That was solid, Danielle.
So
brain
dumb.
slug, brain bug. Come on, it's perfect. All right, well, maybe not as good as Slugs 2 Snails, but I'm working on it. At the home, Finch meets Grogan, and who shows him the mess of the bodies. They found the phone number and prescription and called Finch to see if he could explain what happened to Mark, who clearly went crazy and murdered his parents, according to Grogan. Finch joins the pathologist Bennett near the body and decides not to mention Lisa's mom for some reason. Like, hey, here's relevant information that I'm not sharing with the police.
He didn't want anybody else to see Lisa and take her from him.
It was the way people share or don't share information in this book is insane. He asks Bennett if he can be there for the autopsy, though he can't explain what he hopes to learn from it. But they're like, sure, you can join us for the autopsy, random doctor who has no affiliation with the police. In the pathology lab, Bennett begins the procedure, first sampling some liquid from a pustule and then taking a sample of blood. He opens up the body, seeing the organs are mostly gooified, before deciding it's time to look at those samples he took. Bennett takes the fluid and smears them on a microscope slide. He puts the pus from the boil under first, seeing a mess of tiny, wriggling creatures in the pus. If they're bacteria, they should be dead, since pus is supposed to be composed of dead bacteria and white blood cells. But these are still alive. Ooh.
Are they little tiny baby slugs?
Next, they examine the blood and see the same wriggling mass of weird things in them.
They're so tiny, they're in the veins.
Yeah, they are microscopic.
Microscopic slugs.
Yes. So Then Bennett has an idea. He decides to go over to Mark's body and begins to saw the skull open, like doing the whole thing of the movies where they cut it around a perfect circle and it pops off like a lid. He takes a sample of brain tissue and looks at it under the microscope. Guess what? More wriggling creatures in the brain.
How did they travel so fast?
What do you mean? In the body or around the city?
Like, he's exposed, and then within less than 24 hours, he's like completely taken over by this thing.
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't take blood long to circulate through your body, so...
It doesn't, but they're growing little slugs.
Apparently these slugs are magic, and I'll get to more about that later. Magic slugs, Danielle.
Okay.
Slugs 4, wizard slugs. Oh my God. Slugzards. There we go. Both Bennett and Fitch are puzzled. These things don't really look like bacteria. And then Bennett suspects that they may be blood flukes and not of human origin. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are there any blood flukes that are of human origin? I'm confused by that.
That's a huge jump in logic, it feels like.
What, that they're blood flukes or that they're not of human origin?
Both, really.
I can be pretty confident it's probably not something that's like naturally occurring inside human beings.
Don't know that. They don't know what's going on.
Okay. As dawn breaks, Finch has gone to find Lisa. If her mother had the same disease as the kid, she needs to know. He arrives at her door just as she's stepping out. Lisa explains the hospital called. She needs to come see her mother. She's taken a turn for the worst. Finch almost tells Lisa what he knows, but then decides not to, and instead drags her off, insisting he'll drive her to the hospital.
So he's going to end up in jail for, like, manslaughter or something, right? Because he willfully has not told the police nor Lisa that his mom could go potentially, like, insane and murder hospital people or his daughter, her daughter.
100% he is culpable. He is guilty as heck.
That's where this is heading, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, the whole second half of this book is a trial where Finch is put on trial for manslaughter. Manslaughter by way of slugs.
And he's impeding investigation. Like, there's just a lot going on with this dude.
Again, there's no reason he doesn't share. He's like, I don't want to worry her too much or something. That's crazy. In the car, Lisa keeps prying until Finch admits a boy died tonight from what looked like the same disease as her mother. And Lisa's like, oh no, that means my mother's going to die. But he neglects the whole goes insane and murdered his parents thing. At the hospital, they're told that Lisa's mom has been moved to her own room, and they're trying to sedate her. They hear the mom scream with rage from the room. Lisa demands to go see her, and they're like, no, let us sedate her first before we let you into the room with the crazed woman.
Does the sedation not work? Are the slugs processing things too quickly?
No. As Finch tries to hold her back, she gets around him and busts into the room to see Lisa's mom, wild with rage and oozing boils, fending off a nurse with a syringe.
Don't they have an IV drip on her? She's been in the hospital. Who
Apparently
goes to the
not.
Hospital doesn't immediately get an IV. Like, no matter what you're there for, within like 30 seconds, they have an IV plugged into you.
They're doing it syringe style.
Unrealistic.
Oh, yeah, that's the part of this book that's the most unrealistic, Danielle. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know what 1985 was like, but I feel like every time I've ever gone to a hospital, there's been an IV immediately.
Magic slugs, good. No IV drip. Worst
The whole
book
point of the
year.
IV drip is so they can do things like give you, something to knock you out quickly.
Danielle, then why do syringes exist? Huh? Checkmate.
Just in case.
Philip, where do you stand on the syringe versus IV drip debate?
I'm totally I can't deal with this discussion.
She's like inpatient at a hospital. She's not just like walked into the ER and is hanging out.
Look, Danielle, what can I tell you? The nurse decided to practice her syringe skills.
Like, were they not giving her any pain meds? She had super painful boils all over her body.
Danielle, maybe they thought you could tough it out.
I don't believe it either. Maybe she pulled out her IV and went to town.
Sure. Maybe.
I'm just wondering if the slugs are so powerful and so tiny they can swim up the syringe and then explode the syringe onto the nurse's hand and then inflect her that way. That's what I would
That
write.
would be amazing. Unfortunately,
I love that.
Unfortunately, what we have here is crazy old lady strength because Lisa's mom backhands the nurse, sending the syringe clattering to the table.
Where's security?
Not there.
That's nothing.
Then the old woman stands up, grabs a syringe, starts wielding it like a knife, staring her daughter dead in the eyes like she wants to kill her with murderous intent. Then the nurse gets herself up and grabs the woman from behind. Big mistake, because she spins around, jabbing the syringe through the eye, killing the nurse.
Of course, through the eye.
Killing her?
Killing her. The
Why
syringe
was the
into
syringe
brain.
I don't think that's how
She died
that
of shock.
works.
She died of shock.
It was like a 12-inch needle, I'm sure. Straight through the eyeball into the brain.
And I don't would it kill you? I mean, people get impaled sometimes in their brains and they're fine.
Sometimes, I'm sure many times not so fine.
There were miniature nano slugs at the end of the syringe at the end point, and when she stabbed it in the eye, the slugs exploded into her brain and popped a vein, and that's how she died.
Okay, I know at least one doctor listens to us. Doctor.
Would a syringe in the brain kill you? Maybe.
Like if it was stabbed through your eye, let's go all the way through your eye and then into your brain.
She had crazy old lady strength. With
but is it long enough and like impactful enough? How would it kill you? I'd love to know. Please write us.
I mean, it's probably one of those glass and metal syringes from the 80s, not the plastic ones we use today.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And also, it's Britain. Maybe they're all backwards and old-timey.
We love you, Britain. We do a lot of Britain shaming on this show, but we really love you.
we only Britain shame because we know they can take it, and frankly, we're like their evil stepchild. So
it's not our fault that the media set in you is very odd.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, I love a lot of British TV, which is much better than this. But
it's true. Sam watches a lot of British TV.
It's true. Keep it coming. Don't ever stop. Anyway. Then Lisa's mom, after struggling with the nurse, turns to Lisa, is about to come at her again, but suddenly she lets out a horrible wail, collapses to the ground, dead, as all her boils burst open at once, and her body becomes slick with pus and blood.
Ew.
Finch has someone take Lisa out of the room as he quickly takes a sample from the dead woman and analyzes it under a convenient microscope that's in the room.
I know. Often when you're in the hospital, there are microscopes in the room.
Guess what's under the microscope, Danielle?
Slugs.
Philip?
Snails.
You concur? Snails! That's right, they're snails! No, they're more wiggling forms that look like flukes. Finch drives Lisa home, but has no answers to Lisa's questions, only telling her if she needs anything to call. Oh boy. Cut to squatters in an abandoned apartment. 2 petty thieves live there with one of the thieves' girlfriend, and they hop from apartment to apartment, stealing and selling, and they recently landed in this particularly squalid place.
They must not be stealing and selling very well.
Apparently not, because while one of the squatters is having sex with his girlfriend, the other goes to the bathroom and discovers the bowl is leaking. He returns, and after getting a approving look, decides to join the couple for a bit of Eiffel Tower action.
What?
Well, Philip, when 3 people love each other
very much, yes. Or at least get a little drunk.
I've never heard somebody say Eiffel Tower action. That sounds...
That's because you haven't known Sam long enough.
Damn.
I'm sorry to be the one to introduce you to that term, Philip. They are so engrossed in their activities, they don't notice the writhing mass of black slugs crawling in from under the bathroom door.
Yeah, this has to be in every book. This is the scene.
Just as they all climax together like true friends, the slugs attack.
It was nice of them to wait. It felt like they they didn't interrupt it.
They synchronize like an office of women and their menses.
That does not always happen.
I know, Danielle. But neither does simultaneous climax. So,
If you're doing Eiffel Tower action, you don't know.
Danielle, do you have extensive Eiffel Tower experience you'd like to share with us?
I would not like to share, thank you.
Oh, okay. For the After Dark book retorts.
We should totally do book retorts after dark.
Get all Danielle's secret escapades.
Oh my God.
Escapades, please.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Philip's like, get me out of here.
I mean, Philip, I'm sure you could join us.
Oh my God. I can't deal with this Eiffel Tower.
Slug debates.
Slug debates. That sounds like an ice capades with slugs on little ice skates.
How awesome would that be?
Way better.
Fun fact, slugs loved ice skate.
Slug Fact Corner.
Do.
Thank you.
They're naturally gifted at it because they're slimy.
Yeah, of course. They have extra slick for sliding action.
Mm-hmm.
So the slugs attack. They attack the boyfriend first, climbing onto him as the girlfriend tries to make a run for it to the window and escape down the fire escape. But a slug bites her Achilles tendon, crippling her, and she is soon...
How does she not get out of it fast enough? They are slugs.
Yeah.
She is soon consumed by the slugs. No Achilles tendon, Danielle. They're very clever slugs. They know where the weak points are in humans.
They had to get to her. Like, she could just take a step away and she would be safe.
I believe the premise here, and I'm not defending it, is that the slugs had them surrounded by the time they noticed them because they were so engrossed in their activities.
You could step over them.
No, they had to step
everywhere.
on them, and they were attacking while they did that.
The whole floor and ceiling and walls are covered in
The
slugs.
whole floor was covered in a carpet of slugs.
Like that last book.
Yeah, exactly. The other squatter sees the carnage and begins to laugh manically and just sits there as the slugs come to him.
Well, at least he died happy.
Back at home, Finch receives a call from Bennett asking him to come to the lab immediately. It's important. There's something he must see, but what it is, he won't say.
Of course not.
You can't just say, it's slugs. He has to be like, I have a dramatic reveal planned, and I want you to come and see it, because he's the drama queen. At the lab, Finch tells Bennett about Lisa's mom. Bennett quickly shows him another slide of flukes, but now they were bigger, growing at an exponential rate.
It's nice that he finally shared this really important information with him.
Yeah, he could have said, hey, they're getting bigger. Bennett has also identified the animal the flukes come from. Finch is amazed. Tell me, he says, but Bennett instead goes over and takes a cyst from dead Mark's brain and places it on a petri dish. Those cysts appeared recently, growing from inside the brain after Mark had died, he explains. The flukes formed the cyst, but they also used them to undergo a metamorphosis.
Oh no. Here we go.
As Finch watches, the cyst splits open, spewing forth tiny slugs. Bennett explains that the microscopic flukes enter the blood through the skin, cause the person to go violently crazy for reasons, and then after they die, the flukes form the cysts to transform into the slugs that then have a ready meal for when they hatch, like the wasps that lay eggs in tarantulas.
Are we ever given a reason as to why the slugs create this chaos, this
Nope.
rage? Is it like a rabies style thing?
I'm assuming it's just flukes eating your brain make you go crazy, but I guess it makes you go crazy in a very specific way where you have to murder people for reasons.
Preferably your relatives.
Exactly. Actually, yes. But so the slugs use the flukes to reproduce inside people, basically, and use it as a ready source of food, sure. But then sometimes the slugs just also eat the people, which is like not how the whole wasp tarantula thing works. You don't eat the incubators for your eggs, and then you're limiting your incubator supply. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not a whatever slugologist would be. Filip, you're a slugspert. Does this make sense?
100% approved.
Okay. All right. You know what? I stand corrected.
No, we need a botanist / biologist.
Botanist? What do we need a botanist for? The plants the slugs eat.
The guy from Crabs, who is a botanologist.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot that he was a botanist / marine biologist.
We need him.
We do.
He seemed to know a lot about
He knows everything. So Bennett goes on to explain that the slugs grow rapidly because he has a jar full of them now that are twice as long as they were mere hours ago, even though he hasn't fed them anything. So I'm not sure where they're getting the mass to grow rapidly besides just being magic slugs that can increase their mass by magic. So there you go. Magic slugs, Danielle.
Maybe they consume the body and it somehow continues to power them.
No, because you only have so much mass. You can't make matter out of nothing.
Maybe they're eating each other, Sam.
They inflate.
No, they just inflate apparently. Magically inflate and get bigger.
That's how they float in the water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. They're floaties, right? They have a what's it called, a depth bladder they use to rise and sink.
Yeah, they're not actually getting bigger. They're just inflating.
Yep.
So you could just attack them with needles and be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, but they don't dry that because they're not even drying salt.
Finch, upon learning this, runs out, saying he has to go check on something, and busts his way into the morgue of the hospital to find the body of Lisa's mom. The morgue drawer where the body was shows only a bloody mass and slime trails leading to a drain in the floor.
So the body's just like completely disintegrated.
It's just like, burst open like pinatas. There's like gooey mess left over.
Okay.
Cut to the city water board. Technicians are poring over sewer maps. They've been getting complaints about backups of toilets and effluent rising and backing up into the streets and the subway stations. They suspect it might be blocked filters or maybe a collapsed tunnel. So they send out teams to investigate. Little do they suspect, it's slugs. Meanwhile, Finch and Bennett are presenting the idea to Detective Inspector Grogan, who is skeptical to say the least about killer murder slugs that are eating people. But Bennett insists that maybe those slugs crossbred with something carnivorous, maybe another gastropod, like a leech. Is that how that works? So their leading theory is the slugs crossbred with something like a leech, and that turned them into murder slugs with mind control parasites.
Depends on what powers the leeches had. Does this canonically come in after the other book?
Yeah, so I believe the slug that were on the cabbage were the ones from the end of the book that, like, there was an epilogue where, like, ooh, some of the slugs were left in a cabbage, they didn't get them all, and they drove away, kind of thing.
Did that not make any kind of national news that, like, slugs killed a town?
That's a good point.
People?
Well, if this is simply the next day, or like a day later, maybe it hasn't spread. But you would think they maybe would get some news report about it, because it's been like 3 days of this, and they still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Must have been some news, because they exploded the sewer system in the last book or something.
That's true. That was very fun.
Something must have been visible. Some aftermath must have been on the news.
So remember how they exploded the sewer in the previous book, right? As Phil pointed out? Guess what they decide not to do in this book?
Explode the sewer.
For reasons that are inexplicable. So Grogan is very skeptical as they let all their evidence. And he's like, hey, if just touching the slime transmits the disease to you, you examine their bodies, Bennett. Why aren't you infected? And Bennett's like, I wear gloves. I'm a professional. And like, he doesn't say it like that, but I imagine that's his tone because, like, duh? You don't examine bodies of disease victims without gloves. Like, come on.
Not even in 1985.
I would hope not. And then Finch is all like, well, maybe also there's like a lifetime to this. Like, the longer the slime trail lasts, the less potent it becomes over time. And then Grogan asks, hey, why can't people just, like, outrun the slugs? That seems pretty easy to do.
I can't believe somebody asked that in this book.
Yeah. I would bet a lot of money that the author here saw a bunch of the critiques about, like, they're slugs. Like, I'll show them, because he puts in specifically questions about salt and outrunning them in the book that are waved away. Because, Finch explains, they overwhelm with numbers, and they're huge, over 6 inches long. So you can't outrun them because you just get overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't think that answers the question. Like, I can outrun a mass of slugs as easy as I can outrun a single slug. It's not like the mass is faster. But also, in this entire book, no one's been chased down by a slug. They've all been, like, ambushed by the slugs. Caught by surprise. They're sneak attackers. Why can't that be the answer? Just say, hey, they attacked by ambush. That's way more likely.
In the previous book.
Or they have super speed. You could have thrown it in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's very funny. It's like, no, you can't outrun them. Not because they sneak up on you, but because there's a lot of them.
Once again, coming up in the sequel, I think they should, like, stretch and, like, retract and then fling themselves forward to jump at the people.
Ooh, so like acrobatic snails.
Yeah.
Like slingshots.
Yeah. Love it. Like a grasshopper leg. It like pulls back, creating tension, then it releases.
Yep.
Perfect. Love it.
Slugs 5, grasshoppers. So Finch and Bennett insist if the slugs are using the sewers, they're all in trouble as they could infect hundreds or thousands of people quickly with the crazy causing flukes.
Is this like just one of those, one of these species that's like trying to take out the thing that they survive off of?
Apparently, just another one of my thoughts I was going to get to later, but yes, Danielle, I had the same thought about like, if humans are their food source and their incubators, and they're quickly destroying them all, like these slugs are not going to last very long. They also have a general idea of where the infection is spreading from due to Mark and Lisa's mom, which happen to live in the same area. There's also, in that same area, a lot of complaints about sewers backing up. Dun dun dun! Grogan is still skeptical and decides they need more evidence before going to the commissioner or making any public announcement and causing a panic.
There's 0% chance of containing slugs. Just putting it out there.
Especially if they have microscopic flukes that get into water and can infect you just by touching them.
Yeah. You're just doomed. This is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, this is end of days. We need to nuke England and be done with it.
And hope that they are not nuke resistant.
This is pretty much like 28 Days Later, like where they ended up just isolating the island and letting all the zombies die off when their food supply ran out.
Or if they got into the actual waterways, you'd be screwed. So they could make it out of England.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, England was surrounded by saltwater, Danielle, which would probably kill the slugs, hopefully.
Unless they become sea slugs. We discussed earlier that's
right.
The thing.
Sea slugs, I forgot about that.
Different than regular slugs, but there's apparently a lot of crossbreeding going on.
Philip, what would you do if you were the Prime Minister of England and learned about the slug threat?
I would sprinkle every city with salt, I guess. Just
okay, great.
Send airplanes.
Issue everyone salt packets as defensive measures.
Yeah.
It's like the planes that come by for forest fires,
yes,
and they're
exactly.
spraying the retardant down.
Like
but
a
with
crop
salt.
duster, but a salt duster.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Exactly.
Man, that would make everything taste delicious.
It would destroy their economy because you're salting the lands, but it's fine.
That's okay.
They can import all their food. It's not like they haven't had famines in the past. Meanwhile, the technicians are investigating the blocked-up sewers as teams enter the flooded tunnels to try and find the issue. As one team investigates, they find the walls of one tunnel to be nothing but a seething mass of slugs!
Fire.
They did that in the previous book.
Well, they should try it again. They don't know what happened in the previous book.
I'll get to it. So one tech calls back on the radio. It's like, hey, coordinator, evacuate the other teams. The other team's like, why? He's like, just do it. You could just tell him murder slugs. But no, he's like, I can't tell you right now, even though I have a radio and I'm talking to you. They turn around to run, but are beset by the slugs, and only one tech manages to make it to the manhole ladder and starts to climb.
Again,
but as they climb, they finally succumb, and the coordinator looks down in horror to see the bloody face covered in slugs before they all plop back down into the water, and they haul the body up.
Real question. You're running away because you see the slugs ahead of you.
Yep.
How did the slugs get to you as you're climbing up?
So they're wading through chest-deep water, which slows them down enough the slugs can catch them.
I guess they swim super fast.
Apparently the slugs are excellent swimmers.
Again, floaties.
Yeah, I like to imagine they have little upward motors they attach to their tails.
They just wiggle their little tails and they go. They're like tadpoles in the water.
Yeah.
They're actually faster in the water than they are on land.
Because they can do a propeller like a flagellum or something.
Maybe because they are inflated,
tails.
they just like fart really hard and they just explode themselves.
Oh, there you
forward.
go. Air-powered.
Best solution.
Fart slugs.
Book 5.
Book 5, fart slugs. We've got a whole series here, buddy. There are like 15 crabs book. Why can we have more slugs?
Can you imagine you just have like a floor covered with them and then it just starts popping? It's like, it just starts flying up because...
And they like use that to propel themselves in the air and launch at your face.
Exactly.
That explains a lot of these novels. How do they get across the room so fast?
And they wait and then they slowly inflate and then once again they just jump forward.
Perfect.
These
Jumping slugs.
Fart flying slugs, like just come in waves.
Honestly, I think we should pitch Mr. Hutson with the idea that we can make this the movie. Like the movie rights are being shopped around. We should pitch him on the idea that we'll make the movie with a few minor tweaks.
But then you'd lose the camera going to the human going, and then going to the slug that's like slowly crossing the carpet to the
Danielle, they can't fart forever. We can do both. The popping slugs come later. They evolve that ability.
I'm surprised there isn't a scene where somebody's making fun of it, like just like laughing at the slugs being slow and then they get eaten anyway because they like slip on something or something like that.
One drops from the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of in this book, I've glossed over it, but a lot of the times when people are trying to escape the slugs, they're already surrounded by slugs somehow and step on them and slip on them and get eaten because they can't run away or whatever.
Again, ambush slugs.
Which is the obvious solution. If they were ambush predators, I would be like, oh, it doesn't matter how slow they are because they don't need to be fast. So they haul the body of the dead tech out of the sewer and they call Grogan, who shows up solely after they fish the body out. And he confirms by interviewing the coroner that yes, indeed, it was slugs. Uh-oh, Bennett and Finch were right.
They should just leave the bodies down there. Why are they bringing it up to the surface? That's how you get slugs.
I think it's more easily infected.
They already got slugs, Danielle.
They're going to have more slugs because now the body's infected.
So apparently this body was not infected with slug. It was only eaten by slug.
No. 0% chance.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't know what the distinction is about the bodies they eat and the bodies that get infected, but apparently it's very different things.
No, this is the most unrealistic part.
As soon as you touch the slime, you're infected. So they're covered in slime. You cannot not touch the slime.
Yeah.
They eat you.
Maybe they are. Maybe it got washed away by this effluent. I don't know.
No.
I agree. It's very unclear.
Maybe the secretion of infectant in the slime is intentional by the slug, and they don't when they eat, so they don't spoil their meal.
Sure. Let's go with that. I believe it.
Okay.
All right. Cut to Finch. He has come to his ex-wife's house.
Teresa,
yes. He tells her there's a disease spreading and she needs to take their son and leave while he stays back to help fight the disease.
anywhere but England. We're going to have to
Apparently
bomb
just
it
out of
from
the cities
space.
enough. This is basically Aliens, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. You kid from
The only way to
orbit.
be sure.
The only way to be sure.
Yeah.
Teresa is skeptical. She's like, I don't want to leave my lover Richard behind. He's not going to like it.
Richard can go.
And Finch is like, oh, Richard can go with you or just leave him. I don't care. Get her son to safety. And she's all very non-committal and he storms out.
Who cares about that? She didn't want the son to begin with. She doesn't care.
She loves the son. They love the son now.
Do they?
She's a devoted mother, apparently.
Not devoted enough to take him outside of the city when her husband
she doesn't
knows there's a
commit
known
to.
issue.
Ex-husband, thank you very much.
Whatever.
And he only sees the kid like 24 times a year.
But if my ex-husband came up to me and was like, I have insider knowledge about some kind of attack on this city, you need to get our child to safety, I wouldn't be like, well, maybe, but I don't want to. It's a lot of work. No, you have insider knowledge. You have to, like, what?
That's a good point, Danielle. But also, relevant to that is, he's really like, using insider knowledge to help one person and be like, screw everyone else.
Yeah, but he's using it to help you and your son, so you should probably just go.
Yeah, sure. I'm saying they
the
should
moral
go. But I'm
quandary
saying
there is not yours.
no, it's his. He's being a real jerk, is my point. Much like not telling Lisa about her mother's murderous potential.
Yes.
Anyway, we cut to a woman doing her best to deal with a clogged toilet. All the toilets in her building seem to be clogged, according to her neighbors. She gives up and scratches some annoying red bumps on her arm as she goes back to the kitchen where her shirtless lover is preparing a roast.
Do you often cook shirtless, everybody?
Oh, all the time, because I love getting splattered with hot grease.
I'm not gonna lie, I do that a lot, actually.
Nothing's better than, like, chest hair in the food.
Do you cook roasts?
Sure.
I think it's more to do with the heat wave than it has to do with his cooking.
Sure. I don't even cook without an apron on, so I don't know what this is like. I get stuff in my shirt. I'm like a messy cook.
You are a messy cook. And
know.
aprons are fun.
I don't think I ever got anything on myself while cooking. I'm kind of like, not trying to get burnt.
I lean on things a lot. Not like,
I see.
I just, it's a thing.
Well, this has been Danielle's cooking corner.
I cook a lot. I cook more than the average human.
Probably. Back to the shirtless lover cooking. He sets the roast on the table, and she's very entranced by it, and gives her the electric carving knife to start carving it up.
He's going to carve shirtless.
No, he gives his girlfriend, or partner, the knife to carve, and he turns around to go get the other side dishes, and the woman looks at the knife.
And then she
looks at her
stabs him
lover.
with it.
She revs it up like a pair of head clippers. As he turns around, she slams into his stomach, slashing into him and carving him up, slicing his skin up like a roast beef.
Love that. So good. Best scene so far.
Danielle, you're about to eat those words. Cut to a man sitting on the edge of his bed. The kids are out, so it's the night of depravity, as they call it, for him and his wife.
Ew.
He only wished those painful bumps on his ankles would go away.
Oh my god.
His wife enters wearing a crotchless negligee.
Does he kill her with his penis?
Is he gonna explode
Worse.
into places?
Also, I love the phrase that he uses in this paragraph. Crotchless knickers. The most British thing I've ever heard in my life. Love it. His wife enters the room and starts to go down on him before he pulls out a vibrator and starts to return the favor with it. Eventually, he pulls it out of her and presses it to her mouth while she sensually opens wide for it. But he doesn't stop pushing, and soon she's gagging and suffocating on the plastic cylinder, clattered around against her teeth in her mouth, keeps pressing and pressing until she finally dies with the vibrating thing inside her mouth.
I don't know if that would work, but maybe.
If someone, like, puncture the rear of your throat with it? I imagine it would be quite painful.
Is that what he's doing? Did he get all like, did he actually tear his skin in the back, or he's just suffocating her with it?
I don't know. Just pushes it, keeps pushing it through her. I think she starts bleeding, so I'm pretty sure there's, puncturing of some kind.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, death by vibrator. Amazing.
You gotta give him points for creativity in this one.
Exactly. So we cut back to Scotland Yard, and a conference has been called with Finch, Bennett, and Grogan, the police commissioner, and some others. They're analyzing how to deal with the slug problem. First, their priority is what to do about the people living in those areas. The commissioner suggests evacuating the affected area. They need help from the army because they don't have enough police force to deal with it on their own, but the only way they can think of to avoid further deaths, clear the area. Bennett suggests that if they clear the area, the slugs will simply move to the next source of food and spread further, and they can't clear the entire city, but the commissioner insists that at least they can get a head start, get those people out of there while they figure out how to handle the slugs.
Couldn't they attract them with cabbage or something?
Instead of just like leaving it in a specific area where that they could potentially figure out what they're going to do, they're going to like move the slugs to the next area?
No, so they're evacuating the people, and Bennett's all like, yeah, if you evacuate the people, the slugs are going to realize their food source is gone, they're going to follow it. And they're like, well, let's get them out of there first so that we can deal with the slugs before they hopefully follow them.
Burn it to the ground.
Well, they can't use flamethrowers or fire because they'll ignite all the gas in the pockets and blow up the whole city.
Can they turn it off?
Problem.
Do they turn off what? The gas methane pockets from the sewer? No, it's not gas from, like, natural gas. It's like methane pockets from decomposing sewage.
Nuke it from space.
Yep. So Bennett's all like, okay, so we clear the people out, then what do we do? And the commissioner says, well, you gotta tell me. You guys are the expert.
Salt water.
This is great. So speaking of salt, one of the rando people suggests salt kills slug. Let's hope they attack the Saxa factory. And they all just ignore him and don't move on.
What a great answer to this question.
Yeah, exactly. So Finch is like, what if we use poison? And apparently salt is not an effective poison. So the poison they suggest is, what about cyanide?
Just sprinkle
Don't
on
they have a
them
slug
with
killer?
cyanide.
Why don't they just use slug killer?
I don't know why they don't use that or whatever they used the previous, the lithium whatever that exploded the slugs. But here they're going with cyanide. And they're like, well, here's the problem with filling the sewers with cyanide. A, you need a lot of cyanide to fill the entire sewer system with cyanide. B, if the filters are blocked and the slugs are, in there, then all the cyanide is going to bubble back up into the streets and you're going to kill everyone in the city anyway. And then C, the next problem is, once we clear the slugs, then even if the sewage flows out, it's going to infect the Thames and the drinking water with cyanide. And they're like, well, we don't have any better ideas, so let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Salt was completely dismissed off the table.
Salt ignored after one sarcastic comment by a guy saying, I hope they attack a salt factory. They're like, ha ha ha, now, cyanide. There's a real answer. So the commissioner finally ends with, all right, we're going to figure out the details of killing the slugs later, but now we got to start the evacuation. Anyone who shows symptoms of being infected is to be shot on sight. Let's go.
Dramatic.
Yeah. So Finch leaves the meeting and goes to call his ex-wife to see if she left. Unfortunately, Richard, her lover, picks up the phone. He's like, oh, she wouldn't have left Richard behind. And instead of just saying anything, he's like, just ask him. Ask him if your wife is still there. He just sits there silently while Richard gets angry. You're like, this is a prank call? And then he hangs up angrily. And I'm like, why don't you just ask him, dude? Just say, is Teresa there? But apparently that's too much for him to ask. Then he leaves, tries to drive to his ex-wife's house, and apparently the phone call wasn't enough. And he knocks on the door. No one answers at first, and he sees that Teresa's car is gone. Eventually the door opens, and Richard is there, and he's angry at Finch. Finch asks to see his wife, and Richard's all, she left. You told her to leave, you took Charlie and left. He's like, why did you go with her? He's like, I don't leave just because you tell me to. And he's like, nah. And then he slams the door in Finch's face, and Finch leaves. So I'm glad we had that scene.
They die, it's their fault.
Pretty much. Finch then leaves and drives to go find Lisa and shows up at her apartment. Lisa smiles as she opens the door and sees him there. She's all, how are you, Alan? And Finch says, I should be asking you that. Are you okay after your mother's death? And she's like, I'm managing. I realized that it wasn't my fault and you did everything you could to help.
She thought it was her fault?
No, but maybe she could have done something more, like gotten her mother to the hospital earlier or something like that.
Gotten slugs herself.
Yeah, maybe got slugged herself.
How did her mom get infected but not her?
Good question. Don't know.
Are the boils not, contagious until they break?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I have no answers, Danielle.
If somebody licks you that's infected with it, will you also get the slugs?
Danielle, ask Philip. He's a slugspert.
Philip, if somebody licks you that has these slugs in it, will you get the slugs?
It depends how much slime got down your tongue when you were licking from the slugs.
I'm so glad Philip is here to answer these questions, so I don't have to.
Are they like producing slime? Is your body like slowly turning into slime? Like, are all of your fluids turning into slime?
Probably, yeah.
Contagion reasons?
They had those pus pockets over their bodies, so if there's already that, then I'm sure I'm gonna get infected from a lick.
Okay.
Sure, I believe it.
Carry on, Sam.
So, meanwhile, Finch is spilling the beans to Lisa, telling her all about the slugs and the cysts and the whole thing and how they have an evacuation order and orders to also shoot on sight of anyone infected. He says, Lisa, you gotta get out of here. You gotta leave the city. And Lisa's like, what about you? He's like, I'm staying behind. I don't know if I can do anything, but I'm gonna stay behind because I have a duty to do it. And Lisa's like, well, if you're staying behind, then so am I.
What? She met him like 3 seconds ago.
Yep. And she's like, I have just as much ability to help as you do, apparently, even though she's not a medical expert. And she's like, I also have just as little to lose. None of my family is left, really. None of my siblings are there. Much as well be strangers to me. My mother's dead, so I might as well use my life trying to help. And he's like, sure, okay, come stay with me and we can figure this out.
What?
So that's all it takes for him to be convinced to bring Lisa to stay with him while they fight slugs together.
So where does Lisa live? Isn't she supposed to be evacuating? Like, where are they staying?
Yeah, exactly. So he goes. So this is before the evacuation order goes out. He goes to get her basically because he's using insider knowledge to help the people he likes and no one else.
What's her job?
She works at a hotel, like cleans it, and works the front desk.
I'm surprised you had an answer.
So she's not
for that.
helpful. No offense in the
exactly.
slug.
Never said she was.
Has anybody asked her how to get rid of slugs? Because she might know. She's cleaning stuff, like maybe she's encountered that.
So quickly news spreads about the evacuation order through radio, through TV, and they discover that over 50 bodies were killed in what is called the danger zone from murderous, crazy people the night before.
Uh-oh. That's a lot of people.
The next morning, Finch is woken by a phone call telling him that his surgery could not be used again, his clinic, until further notice because it was in the evacuation zone. And he's like, cool, I wasn't planning to go to work anyway. He lightly knocks on his guest room door before opening it and seeing Lisa, also sleeping naked, in the guest room bed, half covered by a sheet.
Who sleeps naked in somebody else's house?
Lisa.
I barely know you, stranger, but I'm going to sleep naked.
He closes the door, knocks more loudly, and is like, can I come in? And then Lisa says, sure. And he waits like me opening the door. Apparently he just wanted to cop a little peek first by knocking slightly perfunctorily before opening the door. I really don't like him. He lets her know that there's coffee and breakfast downstairs, and she's like, okay, I'll be down in a moment, and then joins him after a shower.
Naked, I assume.
She showers naked and then joins him, probably also still naked, hopefully. She catches up on the news and is like, is anyone working on a cure for the slugs? And Finch is all, there is no cure. It can't be cured because it's slug problems. Like, what? You're a doctor. Your first response is, well, no cure, can't do anything, might as well give up. He's not a very good doctor, I think.
That's why that one woman totally trusted him.
Yeah, right? They're interrupted at breakfast by a loud banging on the door. He opens it, and a constable is there saying, Dr. Finch, you need to come with me. And he's like, why? He's like, I won't tell you. I just told to come get you. And he's like, well, I'm not leaving without Lisa. And the guy's like, I didn't hear anything about a woman, but sure, she can come along. And so they leave together. Apparently, she's now part of the crew.
Yay! Lisa road trip.
Cut to a man. He's heading down to a peep show.
Oh, no.
In the district that's been
That's supposed to be evacuated? Yeah, apparently he's like, well, getting my rocks off is more important than getting evacuated. And to be clear, they call this a love shop, which I think is adorable.
Okay, well, is the love shop still, like, functioning even though they're evacuating?
They're still functioning. Apparently one woman is even there, though we get to later. She doesn't expect anyone to show up because apparently she heard the evacuation order. Was like, I gotta make money, so goes in anyway, which is really an indictment.
Who's gonna come when they're, like, evacuated?
Again, I don't have answers.
Apparently this guy.
Well, this guy who is wearing a homophobic shirt, so I don't really feel bad about him getting killed.
I appreciate that most, like you said, most of the people who have died so far, we're good with.
So the man goes to a booth and plops a coin into the slot, and the little door goes up, and the music starts blaring. And, I love this sentence. The stripper is eating a bacon sandwich and is surprised to see the door open. So she quickly puts the sandwich aside.
Yes.
And, quote, Vicky got to her feet and began dancing as provocatively as was possible at 10 o'clock in the morning with her greasy breakfast slopping around inside
10
her.
o'clock in the morning.
She's like chewing her bacon, dancing.
Honestly, that would do it for some people.
Does Vicky survive? Please tell me she does.
Oh, man, Danielle, we're going to find out.
She's my favorite character so far.
She's delightful. She's like, I got kids to clothe. I'm going to do my job. And if no one shows up, great, I'll have my sandwich and get paid. If someone shows up, they can enjoy a sandwich show.
She should dance with the sandwich. What was she doing?
Right?
This
Why
is
not?
so good.
It's like, bacon. Oh, so good. Bacon. Oh, yeah, you too, but bacon. Oh, I'd be a great stripper.
That's what's happening in my head canon.
Okay, I love it. The music is so loud that neither of them hear the screams that are coming from outside the doors of the booth.
There are more people that didn't evacuate?
Well, there was the bouncer at the door, apparently, who's getting eaten by slugs, I guess.
I thought you were going to say the music was so loud they didn't hear the slugs coming.
Well, they don't either, because soon the slugs are squeezed in under the booth door, but our patron is so focused on, the sandwich show that he does not notice. Eventually, he finishes up, and as the door starts to close, Vicky, our stripper, sees the slugs pouring in and backs away slowly, screaming, trying to get the man's attention to show him the slugs behind him. But then the door closes, and all she hears is the screams. Naked, she runs for it, tries to bust her way out the door of the stripper booth, but apparently the door is quite tightly sealed, so the slugs have been piling up outside of it, like forming their own door outside the door. So she opens up, it's just a wall of slugs that topple onto her, engulfing her.
How do they understand how human things work? I have questions.
In what way?
Like doors.
I think the premise is they scented her from under the door, but the gap was too narrow for them to squeeze under, so they kept just piling up, like banging themselves against it, trying to get in. And then she opens the door and they all tumble in on her.
And she could just jump over them because they're slugs.
No, like the whole, she opens up, the wall of slugs falls on her.
Uh-huh.
It's like
8-foot wall. Where did slugs come from?
6-foot wall of slugs, apparently. Filling the whole door frame, Danielle.
Within seconds.
It's like a cartoon. She opens the door and instead, she opens it up and it's just a wall of slugs filling the door frame that then, fall on her like a pratfall.
To the door. They just open up the one door of slugs and they fall.
So if she just stayed in the room, she would have been
She'd be fine. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Also, the bacon sandwich was near the door, so they could smell it, so that's why they climbed over
Oh,
the
yeah,
doors.
they were talking about the bacon sandwich. That was her undoing.
Yep.
They are hungry. That's why they're eating people, Danielle.
Poor Vicky.
Poor Vicky. She was a pioneer of the bacon sandwich strip show and she'll never be recognized for her genius.
I love a good bacon sandwich.
Who doesn't?
Sometimes I make tofu bacon.
Toe bacon? Why?
Because I don't have any bacon, but I want a bacon sandwich. And I always have tofu in the house.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to move on until we get to another Danielle's cooking corner.
It tastes a lot like bacon. Not as good, just to be clear. Let's not oversell tofu.
So we cut to the foyer of the Regent Palace Hotel in Piccadilly, where one of the police sergeants and the manager, Martin, are going floor to floor, making sure everyone has evacuated. They decide to split up and cover more ground, because that's always a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
The manager eventually gets spooked by a corridor where the lights are out, decides to just make a break for it and leave the hotel and leave the sergeant behind. And as he runs down the stairs, he trips on the last flight and looks out into the foyer and sees the entire floor is now a writhing mass of slugs. They've covered the entire floor of the hotel.
That's a lot of slugs.
Yep.
He tries to scream, but is covered in slugs. Oh no, and he's dead. The sergeant hears the screams and comes down. He sees the body and the slugs eating it and decides to first call in and say, hey guys, there are slugs here. Everyone evacuate. So good for him being the only person to make the smart choice and yell at people to get away. And then he backs back up the stairwell and goes to the first floor landing and breaks the window and jumps out, breaking both his ankles as he lands in the alley below.
Was it? I guess it's the first floor. It is kind of higher up, huh?
Yep.
Could we have waited or think of something else? There's no rush. The slugs are just downstairs.
They're not going to come up the stairs.
No, he was like, oh my gosh, they're going to climb the stairs after me. I have to run. Jump out the window.
Can slugs climb stairs?
Sure.
Real question.
They can climb to make a door wall of themselves, so of course they can climb
But they were
stairs.
I guess if they climbed on top of each other. I guess if there were enough slugs, they'd just keep rising.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just like a rising flood of slugs, a tide.
Do they just coast along on their, the stuff that they make?
They crowd surf, baby. That's why this is why this guy loves metal. Clearly, he loves metal, making crowd surfing slugs.
Just meant real life. Is that I don't know how they move. Is it so they put the slick stuff down and they slide on it, or do they
Philip
have little feelers?
Slugspert, Philip.
Of course, they have the slime trail, and they can climb walls and floors and everything and ceilings.
Yeah, but is that how they stick? Is with the slime trail?
Yeah, I think so. I think they can stick to anything. They can just climb up.
Throw it. They'll stick to a wall
Yeah,
pasta.
Sure.
I love Philip's confidence every time. This is why we need you on here. You're confident. We never believe in ourselves, but you believe in yourself unequivocally, and I admire that.
I believe in slugs, of course.
There you go.
All my slug knowledge is so wrong.
Yeah,
You've
probably.
never seen a slug on a wall? I've seen a slug on a ceiling before, I think.
Yeah.
No, I always see them on a concrete pathway.
Look harder.
My house, knock on wood, does not get slugs.
Definitely see them on walls a bunch. They can climb up walls easily.
Okay, I believe you.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Philip, for another fascinating Philip Slug Fact Corner.
Do.
So we cut now to Finch and Lisa. They are ushered into the meeting room with the commissioner and Bennett and D.I. Grogan. Why is Lisa suddenly now allowed to be part of this high-level committee? I don't know.
She's probably naked.
She's the secretary now.
She's the secretary now. Yeah. Secretary, thank you. So Finch is all, okay, great. We've all introduced each other. What's going on? Why'd you call me? And why couldn't you just tell me over the phone? So the commissioner informs him that they've evacuated the area. Everyone's out. And so we must destroy the slugs now before they spread.
They still don't have a plan, though.
Well, they do have a plan because Bennett's all, we're sticking with the plan of cyanide. We're going to poison the slugs. But it can't be done because Finch is like, we're going to poison all the people, though. And Bennett's just like, nah, I'm just going to ignore that question. And he's like, as long as the slugs are spread through the tunnels, though, it doesn't work because there's too many slugs that we can't put enough cyanide in the sewers to kill all of them, be sure. So Bennett's, okay, here's the plan. We need to gather all the slugs in one area.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have a slug rock concert? What's the plan?
This is the same plan from the first book where they got all the slugs in one area so they could drop the poison on them. It's basically the first book again, but in London and with mind control flukes, which I love.
I do remember that, but how did they get the slugs to one area? I can't remember that part.
I think they threw a bunch of meat into the sewer or something
Oh,
like
really?
that.
I thought they didn't. I thought they just found the quote-unquote hive and they just killed the most
Oh,
of them.
maybe you're
they did
right.
something with meat, though. They did find a
They
hive.
They did find the hive. I have to go back to it. I don't remember. I do remember it was stupid, so that helps. The plan here is crazy. I love this plan. This is my favorite plan this guy ever came up with. So, okay, we got to gather the slugs in one central area. So what we're going to do is drive the slugs back along the tunnels and then have crews seal the tunnels as we drive them back. And then eventually they'll be all confined to one area and we can poison them.
But how do they drive them back?
Well, okay, we can use flamethrowers to drive them back. Oh, wait, no, that's going to ignite the pockets of methane and we'll explode ourselves. Can't use flamethrowers. And then Bennett has the bright idea of, what if we don't drive them? What if we lure them? Lure them. Great, but what do slugs want? And Bennett's like, well, they feed on human flesh, so what about human flesh?
They have a lot of that.
Yeah, and they're like, no, you're not serious, not human flesh. Like, yeah, but what about other flesh? They clearly ate the dog, too. Like, you could feed them any other meat, maybe? But they're like, nope, it's got to be human. Only thing that's going to work is human beings.
The goat or the cow or whatever in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but dumber. So Bennett's all like, what are a dozen or so lives compared to the entire city?
Oh my god.
And like, it's crazy, but we can't think of a better option.
Don't they have 50 dead bodies?
You can't be dead bodies for some reason.
Are you
Not
sure?
attractive
I
enough.
feel like
So the
they only
problem
attracted
is
to live flesh?
they have to move. So the problem is that the slugs are spread out. So they have to move them from the outlying areas into a central area. So they have to drag the bodies on an ATV through the sewers or something. And so that's not going to work.
Well, they're dead. I mean, no offense to the dead bodies, but
But at that point, you already have people dragging them. Why have the bodies? You already have the people in the sewers anyway, dragging the bodies.
You could do, I don't know, remote-controlled cars or something.
1985, Danielle! They don't have drones. They don't have drones. They don't have body-dragging robots.
Do you do little Volkswagen Bugs and do this like a heist
Like the Italian
film?
job? No, not big enough.
It doesn't make any
Their
sense.
plan is human sacrifice, Danielle. Human sacrifice.
What about animals that run?
They think they're not sure animals will do it. They need humans.
Even if they had remotely controlled animals and people and all these human sacrifices, it still doesn't make any sense because how are they sure that they will attract all the slugs in the area? They will just attract a part
Well,
of them.
here's what it says. D.I. Grogan's like, we're not even sure that it'll work. It'll attract all the slugs. And pathologist says, I think there is, but we can't be sure. Quote, the secretion left by the leading slugs, the slime trail, seemed to act as a stimulant for the others, much the same way as pheromones work for ants. Men injected with that secretion would automatically attract the slugs. Yes,
Okay.
injected.
What? Didn't they
So
just
first
find
off,
out
this
that they
entire-
will just explode in pus when they inject them?
So we'll get to that, because then Finch is all like, if they're injected, won't they just die from the disease anyway? And Bennett's like, not for at least 6 hours, which is the incubation time of the disease. So we'll have that window to get them to track all the slugs to the point and then, toast them all.
Isn't the whole area like slug central? So the slug juice is all over the place. So wouldn't like
Maybe it's not like, you think, I don't know,
so
Danielle.
like if you
That's
just
the plan.
touched the floor of that hotel or whatever it was they were at, that like you'd immediately have the slugs again.
And
Yeah.
There's like
therefore,
no way to clean this whole town
it's
down.
everywhere, so they are attracted to everywhere. They're just not gonna go to that one person.
You gotta
with the
bleach
slime.
the streets or something. I don't know.
Nuke it from space. There's no way to clean this town.
They didn't do it in
One
Aliens,
slug that
Danielle,
was
and they're
like,
not going to
you know
do
what?
it here.
There's like one little slug out there that's like slow slug or, I'm not that hungry, I just ate slug, and you're screwed. It's gonna make 8 billion other slugs.
I know what to tell you, Danielle. It did.
This is the
people in
same
Aliens
problem I had
didn't
with
nuke
the
it,
other one.
and they didn't nuke it in this book. Human beings don't change, apparently.
This is how they ended up with slugs in another town, was because they exact same thing they did the first one.
They didn't nuke it from space. I agree.
And they had 2 slugs left over, and look what
Look,
happened.
don't get mad at me, Danielle. I'm just telling you what they did.
Stupid.
So, I also love Bennett's leap into logic of like, yes, I have known these slugs for all of 6 hours, but I realize they leave a pheromone trail of slime and they seem to follow the slime. How'd you figure that out? Anyway, the commissioner and the army captain are wary, but coming around to the idea. Because, what choice do they have? And so the plan is to get a group of men to be injected with slug slime, extra slug bait, and lead the slugs, while another group of men follow from a safe distance, sealing up the tunnels as they go.
So these are people who are gonna, give themselves up to science, essentially. They're gonna die.
Yes. Yeah, this is human sacrifice
Okay.
for the greater good.
Do they have 6 volunteers?
12, we'll get to that.
12 volunteers. 12 people volunteered for this job. Sure. Is Lisa gonna do it? She doesn't have any family.
Well, yeah, we'll get to it, Danielle. So they haven't quite solved the plan yet, because, okay, we get all to one central place, we could pour cyanide on them, but again, the cyanide is just going to get into our water supply and poison all of us anyway, so we can't use cyanide.
What if they just kidnapped 12 people who they know are infected, who have not yet gone insane, and then throw them in the sewers, and then we're like, by the way to get out of the sewers is if you just run straight down there.
That seems almost more cruel.
They're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, but would you, if the government kidnapped you and said, do our bidding, and you're going to die anyway, would you?
I wouldn't say you're gonna die anyway. We'd say, gotta get out of the sewers or you're not gonna survive.
But you put me in the sewers. I'm not going to help you. I'm going the other
But
direction.
there's slugs coming up behind you.
Danielle, please, you are not in that room. You are not the commissioner or the army captain. These guys have decades of experience and know what they're doing, apparently, with slugs.
Okay. Did anybody ask Lisa?
No, she's just there silently being a secretary.
She probably had a
Have they
solution.
tested the cyanide on a single slug? How do they even know it
No,
will kill them?
absolutely not. Well, they're not going to cyanide anyway. They've given up on cyanide because they realize they can't poison the sewer without poisoning the populace. So finally, Finch looks at the map on the ground. He's like, hey, what are these lines in blue? And Grogu's like, oh, those are electricity cables.
Oh, no.
If it's just like a light bulb, if we run some high voltage cables into the sewer, when all the slugs gather, we could just electrocute them to death. And Bennett's all like, oh yeah, there's no better conductor than water, which is not true. Water's a terrible conductor, but with effluent in it, probably would do okay. And so their plan is settled. They're going to get 12 people to act as bait, lure the slugs into a central area, and electrocute them all with generators they're going to bring in, and then they're going to seal the tunnels up as the slugs go. That's the plan.
Okay.
Save the city.
What
Kill
happened
the
to
slugs.
the guy who suggests the salt?
He was fired, apparently, I guess.
He evacuated.
Yeah, no longer welcome in the slug committee room.
Did you say save the city, kill the slugs?
Yeah.
Should get a t-shirt going.
All right. Then Lisa, at the very end, speaks for the first time. Hey, that's great and all, but who's going to go to the sewers? Dun, dun, dun. So, first things first, they spend the next few hours sweeping the sewers, finding the locations of the slugs. They find 3 central areas where the slugs seem most active, and they're going to use this as starting points to lure their slugs into Piccadilly.
How did they find these without getting attacked by slugs?
I think they were following where these slugs attacked as used as a guide to where the most active areas were.
Sure.
Cannot be.
That's my best guess. I don't know, Danielle. I don't know.
Sonar.
While that's happening, Bennett takes the slugs he's been saving in the jar and kills them with sulfuric acid he has on his shelf, just pours it on to dissolve them, and then dumps them down the drain.
What?
Did he think to try salt?
Nope, he does sulfuric acid and dumps them down the drain. He kills all the slugs, because all he wants is the slime they left behind in his jar.
Could they not use sulfuric acid in the tunnels?
I was just going to say,
Apparently
why don't they
not.
test something? Try some stuff.
Bennett, meanwhile, is wrestling with the morality of what he's about to do, sacrifice 12 men. But he
Why does it
realizes
have to be
it's
12?
Because good question, I don't know. They want 3 groups of 4. 4 men for each of the groups. Why 4? I don't know.
I think you could just do
Redundancy.
3 or 6 even.
Either way, they're all setting up now in Piccadilly with the giant generators, the military radio station. They take 100 men from the 1st Battalion Coldstream, and they pass them out a lottery, where they give them 100 pieces of paper on which
God.
12 have X drawn on them.
Did they ask anybody if they wanted to volunteer
Yeah,
first?
who agreed
No,
to do that?
no, this is worse. It gets worse, Danielle. It doesn't get crazy.
Like, at least ask. Maybe some people would
Nope.
be willing.
Yeah.
The 12 men who draw the X are driven down to the pathology lab, where they're brought in one by one into the pathology office and given an injection without any explanation.
They
Awesome.
don't even tell them why.
No. After they finish, the captain comes up and says, 2 of our men are down there in the sewers. They've got to be found. You'll split into 3 groups, 4 men in each. Work your way towards Piccadilly. You'll find ladders leading up from the sewer tunnels where you can get out there. And they're like, wait, what were the shots for? It's like, that's an immunization to protect you from the
my
slug
God.
disease.
That's exactly what I told you that we should do, but with people who were already exposed to it.
Nope.
Same
They
exact
decided-
thing.
They decide to take 4 soldiers. I think they use soldiers because they're like more likely to follow orders, I guess. But either way, it's dumb. And they're like, don't ask any more questions. Off you go. Bye-bye. And so off they go to go do their slug plan.
But they would, as soldiers, most likely do this.
If you ask for volunteers, you probably could get 12 volunteers. But they decide to just lie to 12 people and do it to them without any chance.
You have 6 children at home? Too bad for you.
Exactly.
Yep.
But apparently there was a mistake because the saline solution that Bennett used to mix up the slug serum caused the fluid to move more quickly through their veins, spreading the infection at maximum speed.
I don't think that's how that works. And also, did the saline solution kill the slugs?
Apparently not. It's only, well, probably only, what, was it 0.9% is what the saline concentration is for
They fried
humans?
it.
I don't think it's that bad.
How do they know it's going at warp speed?
They don't. We do as the readers.
Okay, just making sure.
The narrator tells us because, that may make their timetable not work.
Well, is it supposed to take 6 hours to get through the tunnels?
I don't know, Danielle. We're gonna, however long it takes, it's not long enough.
Okay.
So Lisa, Grogan, and all of them are stationed in Piccadilly. I don't know why Lisa's there at ground zero, waiting with the captain to throw the switch on the generators when the slugs show up. Over the radio, they hear the 1st unit calling in. They're like, there's something in the tunnel behind us. It's coming for us. It's getting us. Oh my gosh. They're quickly overrun by slugs, and they shut off the radio. So I guess their 1st unit did not attract the slugs to Piccadilly.
Retracted it to them.
Then we cut to the next group of men making their way through the tunnels. One of them has a strange pain in his base of his neck and weird welts on his body. He pulls his bayonet out of his holster and starts eyeing his compatriots. As they make their way through the tunnels, they come to a fork in the road and decide, let's go one way. And they decide to go right without even calling anyone in for help or directions. It's at that point that the soldier attacks, stabbing his friends, killing them, driven by his demonic strength.
It's okay, you just need one to get the slugs to wherever they're going.
Exactly, even if he is half crazy. One of the other soldiers fights back, swinging a heavy flashlight at the other guy, but unfortunately it's not enough. Even though he connects with his head, apparently he has slug strength and fights them off. After his compatriots are dealt with, he plows on through the darkness, driven by madness towards Piccadilly.
Do they get slug speed as well?
Let's go with yes.
Stronger and slower.
Slowly, he comes to a manhole and climbs up. Peeking above the rim of the manhole, he sees a driver parked just on the outskirts of Piccadilly, not paying attention, smoking a cigarette by his truck.
What's he doing there?
And this is where... So, this is crazy. This slug-possessed man is like, yes, a plan. He slowly, silently lifts the manhole cover, gently sets it aside so that he won't be noticed as he sneaks up with his gun drawn on the unsuspecting driver.
Just because.
Yeah, so apparently... the slug crazy just makes you murder people violently, but like also has you have super intricate plans for how to murder someone instead of just shooting him or going crazy and attacking him head on. Back in the truck, they hear they've lost the number 2 unit, and Finch yells, "Throw the switches! We've got to have them close enough by now."
Do you, though? I feel like the slugs have gone
They
nowhere.
haven't started yet and nothing happens.
The captain insisted they still have men down there who will be killed. He's like, well, they're dead anyway. Might as well try killing the slugs too.
True story.
As they're yelling about the throwing the switch or not, their screams heard out in the camp, and one of the other soldiers has climbed out of the sewer and is covered in slugs and is shambling towards the other people. The captain pulls his gun out and shoots him, killing the guy before he can spread to other people, and then yells, "Throw the switch!"
Except now there's still a guy up on the land, right, with
do
slugs all
anything.
over him.
Well, they'll have to flamethrower his corpse later,
Okay.
apparently.
Now the slugs are already leaving. They're
Don't even worry
dissipating
about it.
the ground.
They throw the switches. The electricity crackles to life, sending blue lightning coursing through the water in the sewers as slugs vaporize in the water. Finch holds Lisa tightly as the horrible sound cascades around them.
The sound of electricity. What's the horrible sound? Screaming
The sound of
slugs?
electricity
It's the
and
slug screaming.
maybe the slugs popping like popcorn.
Ew.
They shut it off after 10 minutes. And the captain says, now we'll wait 30 minutes, and then we'll go down there to check the tunnels, make sure we've gotten all the slugs.
Oh my God.
So, genius plan. But at that moment,
You feel like they would have trial run some of this. Like, let's electrocute a slug and
They
see
tested
what
nothing.
happens and
There's
how
so many
long it
plans
takes.
and tested none
nope,
of them.
they're just like, they're going full bore. First idea, best idea.
No, the first idea was cyanide, Sam.
Oh,
Well, the
yeah,
first
that's
idea
true.
was salt, but that got way to
That's true.
cyanide.
You're right, Danielle. Third idea, best idea. So meanwhile, the one soldier who snuck up on the driver has killed him and stolen the truck and starts it up. He drives it headlong into the camp, smashing into Finch's car, crushing it, which is very funny. Now, this is where I find it gets unbelievable. Everyone starts opening fire at him. They miss.
Prior to this, it was
No,
totally believable.
Yeah, Danielle, this was totally reasonable. Now, this crazed slug-possessed man is using this car as a battering ram, and as it's being shot at, he decides to drive off and try to escape. And not once has a crazed person been like, I don't want to kill, I want to run. And he's like, I gotta get out of here, gotta spread my slug disease to someone else, save the slugs inside of me.
Maybe he's like Borg connected to the other slugs and he just like realized they all passed away and he's like, I am the last of the slugs.
I must survive, carry on the species.
I'm serious.
That's what I was hoping
I
this
believe
plot
you.
would be, but they didn't suggest anything along the lines of that, so too bad.
As he drives off, both Grogan and the captain get into separate cars and give chase. And now we have a weird car chase scene while slug-crazed man is weaving and ducking through the city and shooting his rifle back at the two people pursuing them who also shoot at him. Eventually, The captain manages to get the other car off the road. They crash into a theater, into the lobby of a theater, and explode in a massive fireball, setting the theater on fire, killing them both.
Did he, drive into a tank of something? Why did it explode?
Nope. Because cars explode, Danielle. Movies taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's, was the slug guy in there, or did he also escape?
Yeah, he was in the other car that exploded.
So they all
captain,
died.
ran him off the road into the theater, exploding them both.
Okay.
Detective Grogan, though, followed and did not get killed, although he was injured in the fight.
Got it.
Eventually, Finch and the others show up. They call an ambulance for the bleeding detective, who mentioned that the captain is dead in there. Nothing could have survived those flames. It's over.
Nothing. They should probably check, just to make sure.
Well, they mentioned they have to go still check the tunnels later, but that's a problem for the people who aren't injured terribly. Epilogue. End of Slugs. We cut to Teresa. She's taking her son, driving up towards Scotland to meet up with her parents. She did evacuate following the advice of her ex-husband, and his son actually seemed pretty cool. She's like, oh yeah, it's exciting. A fun surprise trip to Grandma and Grandpa's. That's fun. And seemed really excited. As she takes a little rest stop and grabs some snacks and brings it back to the car, suddenly Charlie seems very lethargic, not excited. She notices a red rash on his skin and is like, well, I hope it's just a sunburn, as they get back in the car and drive off. But unfortunately for her, Charlie had a headache starting to form, and the blisters on his back were starting to burn. The end.
Oh, my lord.
How did he get it? They should have left when he told them to the first time. Problem solved.
They did leave. They left pretty much when that happened, and apparently he still got infected.
He had to go back multiple times to tell them to leave.
No, he went once, and then he went back to see if they'd actually left, and only the boyfriend was left behind, who didn't leave.
Should have left earlier.
How could they leave earlier than when he told them to leave?
I don't know how many hours they waited until they left.
All right, whatever. The point is, and Slug's not over. Slug 3 Snails is on the table.
That was a given. There was no way it was going to end with it. All the slugs died. The end.
But apparently they cleared them out of the tunnels in London pretty easily. So you go, Philip. How do you feel about Slugs 2? Did it live up to the Slugs 1 pedigree?
Yeah.
Convince me.
It wasn't boring, not that, but I was hoping there would be some kind of, step-up plot twist, some kind of mind control.
Yeah, I was hoping for more from the mind control. Not just, it makes people go crazy and attack people in some funny ways a few times.
Yeah, the scenes were fun.
And then makes a guy drive away, but... Yeah.
I was hoping they would go overboard, he would be kind of almost parodying himself and do something crazy, just for the fun of it.
I was hoping there'd be once you're possessed by the slugs, it's yes, must protect slugs.
Yeah,
you think of the slugs and petting them and putting them on your shoulder, slugs are friends. Yeah, bringing them here, friend. Do you want to be happy? Here's slug for you.
And then you devolve into madness and you start moving like slugs, so there are people crawling on the floor.
Wriggling on the ground. I am become slug.
Yeah. And then
destroyer of worlds.
I think the humans should have tried harder to spread it when they were.
And then there's a wave of people just crawling on top of each other.
Look. Obviously, we have our issues with this book, but I think if you can get through the interminable descriptions of gore over and over, and basically the same pattern of, hey, here's a character, here's their backstory, oh, they die. If you can get through that, there's a lot of fun to be had with this book's absolute insanity, and the plot picks up about halfway through the book. The plot actually starts, so that's cool.
The ending is dumb.
The ending is very dumb.
That was disappointing.
This is the problem I had with pulp books in general. This is not a long book. It's 200 pages or something. And half the book is just, here's a spooky scene of someone getting killed in a weird way. Or telling Teresa she needs to leave. If more plot was spent on them trying to figure out the slug problem. In the first book, I feel I could be wrong, but the first book it feels like they spent a lot of time trying to solve the slug problem. That guy in the museum who was not a slugspert but became was testing things and put different liquids on the slugs to see if he could kill them. They ate his hamster, that kind of thing.
No, the hamster.
Yeah, this one it feels like this one was electricity kills things, right? Let's just do that. And it feels like such a cop-out. I wanted to do more problem solving on the slug problem.
Me too.
But I did enjoy a lot of the funny deaths, which I did, again, I couldn't go into too much detail on our podcast because it's just too gross. But if you're interested, it's a fun read.
Did it feel did you feel it was long, or did you think it went by fast?
I mean, I think My problem was I felt under the pressure to read a lot of it. I think it's better read in like chunks. Like you read a couple chapters, like, okay, so that's a fun little scene. You put it back, come back. If you try to binge it, it's like, oh, this is very repetitive because it's the same, like, oh yeah, things happen. So I think it's a fun, like, oh, over like a week, you can read like a chapter or two a night and enjoy all the craziness. Like, oh, look, here's a fresh bit of crazy just before I go to bed or whatever.
Yeah, he's
there you go.
Shaun Hutson is 67 now, so he's still got time for another sequel.
Like I said, I think we should pitch him on Slugs 3 Snails. Maybe we could do the movie rights.
Were these the only 2 he wrote on Slugs?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, he mentions in the foreword that he thought about doing a third book, but just hasn't got around to it or hasn't really felt the need.
Did he do other
creature
features?
Yeah.
He's written a lot of, yes, he's very prolific.
Last one, 2019, came out.
Yeah.
Testament.
Yeah, he's not lacking for want of books to publish.
The sequel to Slugs is 1985.
5, I think?
Yeah. So it was only 3 years later after the first one.
Yeah.
So I wonder if his style changed after 20 years of writing this. So
maybe. I hope not. I hope he stuck to his guns.
It's actually 35 years of writing these books. I wonder if after...
I hope he still writes like everything's in the 80s.
Yeah. I wonder if the most recent books
pulp
are the
books
same.
all read like that.
Yeah. No cell phones, all telephones, the whole thing. Well, there you go, Filip. Your first Spook Retorts. Thank you for joining us on your spooktacular adventure.
I am very blessed I was spooktified because I didn't have to read the book and I had to thoroughly enjoy it through you. So that's amazing. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I could bring it to you, and I'm glad you could join us as our slugspert. We really needed all the advice we could get, and your expertise was invaluable.
Cannot believe you actually read it.
You think we'd know more about slugs at this point?
Yeah.
I kind of prefer not knowing. I like our ideas better. I'm sure there are people out there who could tell us things, and I'm like, I don't need to know.
Gonna have to look up if there is any horror book including snails.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Indestructible with their little shells.
In the meantime, if you want to write in and tell us how you would deal with the slugs of London, that doesn't involve salt, salt's off the table.
Werewolves.
You can do so at bookretorts.com.
You can also blue sky us at Book Retorts.
And Filip, if they want to reach out to you and mine your beautiful brain for more slug facts, where can they do that?
You can check me out at mindtechbooks.com. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. If you want to help fund the screenplay for Slugs 3 Snails, you can do so at patreon.com/bookretorts.
It's going to be a winner.
It can't be any worse than many other creature features out there, and I think better. Well, until then, don't go licking mucus. It's not a good idea.
As that dog found out quickly.
Yeah, indeed. Till then, stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
I wasn't going to ask, but why do you even need the light? Isn't there a light switch in the room?
I don't turn the lights on when I go to the bathroom.
It's not night. You don't want to like waste your night vision.
What? It
That hurts. My eyes are so
But
sensitive.
if you
Like
have a
I cannot
flashlight
turn
in
on
your
lights
hand,
at night.
it does the same. It just defeats the purpose. You just
No,
don't
the
have
night
any
light
light
is
there.
very dim, but it's bright enough at night when you have your night vision. You can see the toilet.
Oh my god.
Also, it's fun to pee into a magical glowing portal.
It's true. It changes colors.
Yeah.
These are things I've never considered.
It'll change your life, Filip. Try it.
Yeah, I will definitely do that tonight. First thing.